All right. Coach Jen B is a business empowerment coach and founder of GROW, Get Ready to Own Your Own Worth. After leaving her six-figure corporate job to pursue her passion, she faced several challenges, including closing the doors to her first business. Through flipping through flipping her limiting beliefs, consistent and aligned marketing, and taking intentional action, she built a six-figure business in 6 months, surpassing her corporate salary all in less than a year. Now she is determined to help women entrepreneurs break through barriers, scale their businesses, and build sustainable impact and income by breaking limiting beliefs and aligned with powerful strategies. Ready to stop spinning your wheels and start seeing business results? Then let's do this.
All right. Thank you, my friends. Okay. So one little thing to know about me as a speaker, I'm not going to speak at you. I'm going to speak with you. Okay. So today we're going to play. We're going to have a little bit of fun along the way. And if we're able to, I ask us to share and be as vulnerable as we possibly can. Okay. Now, with that being said, if I were to say that marketing works, what would you tell me? Would you agree that marketing works? You believe it doesn't work? What do you think? Okay. So for every one of us, we have this little thing called our internal marketing. It's also known as our itty bitty shitty committee. And it's a little voice in your head that tells you you're too much, too little, not enough, why me, etc. Okay. So in the way of marketing, I'm gonna just play along. If you can play along for a quick second before we get into the 12 profit killers today. I'm gonna give you the name of a company or the tagline for a company, and I'd like for you to tell me what company it belongs to. Okay. All right. So if I were to say the happiest place on earth, what would you tell me?
Disney.
Disney. I also got slight claustrophobia that still manifests as staying in elevators and airplanes from Disneyland. That's a story for a different day. If I were to say just do it, what would you tell me?
Nike.
Nike. And if I were to say think differently, what would you say? It's a little harder. Just take a stab at it. It's okay if we're wrong.
Is it like Apple?
Apple.
It's something tech.
Yes,
Yeah,
Apple.
okay.
Okay. All right. So we all know that words have power. And in the course of our business, this is something I'm very passionate about. Passionate is the intersection of pissed off and passionate. Again, passionate, pissed off and passionate. And part of my job responsibility as an HR director was to hire people. Here's usually what would happen. I would have the same exact job with the same exact level of experience, credentials, etc. And I would offer the job to a man. What would happen? They would negotiate. Give me better terms of employment regarding work or pay or vacation or benefits. Something would be asked. On the other hand, same job, same responsibility, same location, and a woman I would extend the job offer for. What would happen? Nothing. And so, in essence, because I also had a P&L, profit and loss statement to manage for the company. What would end up happening is I would know beyond certainty, like without a shadow of a doubt, that there was more money on the table. But until you asked me, I couldn't give to you. So, over the course of realizing this trend and pattern, I got really pissed in it because I got really pissed off about the responsibilities I needed to hold to, like the advocacy for the company, realizing that as a consequence to the people that I admire, I looked up to, and many of them on my own team. So when I became an entrepreneur, I went rogue. And when I went rogue, I started talking more about money. And I thought I was going to be better as an entrepreneur, like women would make more money comparatively to men as entrepreneurs. And unfortunately, I got quite the opposite message. On average, and this is not about the boys, but on average, women make about 80 cents to the dollar in corporate America. Okay, 20%, that's quite a bit of money when you think over the course of a lifetime, which actually equates to about $1 million. As an entrepreneur, 62 cents to the dollar. So I started wondering about these 38 cents and why the 38 cents weren't showing up because at the end of the day, I'm just going to say I think women are a lot better than men when it comes to many things, including problem solving. That's just my belief system. So what I want to share with you today is the 12 profit killers in your business that are actually not about your P&L, but are directly impacting your P&L. So can we do that today? All right, here's the way we're going to do this. I'm going to ask you to play a game with me. So for every one of you, we're just going to be a little generous today. I've given you $1,200. Just write that at the top of your sheet of paper, 1,200 bucks. And I'm going to ask you, you just got gifted 1,200 bucks by the universe. Thank you, universe. I will take more of that. What would you do with the $1,200? What's one little thing you'd buy for somebody you love, yourself, what place you'd contribute? What would you do with the 1,200 bucks? So, Lizzie, what would you do with 1,200 bucks? And we're going to go real quick.
First thing that jumped to mind was like a really fun weekend with our nieces and nephews. Like
Awesome.
go out.
All right. Tanika? Tanika?
It's Tanika, yeah. I'm so
Tanika.
boring. I just thought, oh, I'll probably invest it.
Okay, we're not investing. What are we doing?
Oh, you said not investing. Oh, then I'd
I
take,
didn't say that, but I'm just going to
oh,
draw the line for you here.
could it just put in my savings? My gut instinct is not to spend it right away. Is that what you're trying to get me to say?
I want you to do something that brings you joy.
Okay, then I would, I don't know, like go on a little trip. Yeah. Oh,
We're going to go on a little trip. Okay,
okay.
that's fine. All right. Danielle.
I'm going to pay myself first, and then a portion of it is also going to go for something fun, probably a weekend hiking trip.
Love it. All right. Rashad, what are you doing?
I would buy my husband and I some tickets to a really fun concert.
Yay. Okay. So we all got dreams and desires, right? Okay. So here's the way that this game's going to be played. I'm going to show you the 12 profit killers on a screen here. Okay. And we're just going to see how much money we have left at the end of the day. Deal? Okay. Now, as I come up with a category or show you the category, what I would like you to do is to be honest with yourself. If this thing, which I'm about to show you, has come up in your business before, or is currently in your business, we're going to take a $100 bill and we're going to burn it. So at the end of the day, I'm going to ask you how much money is left, and then we're going to go from there. Deal? Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and put it up. All right. Now I know there's a bunch of action takers here with me, so all I'm going to ask you to do is to just follow along with me. Okay. All right. So the 12 profit killers in our business, my friends, go into 3 different categories. The inner saboteurs, the habit patterns, and the energy drainers. Okay. So I'm going to start with the first one. Number 1, not feeling worthy. Not feeling worthy of receiving, not feeling worthy of having the capabilities to do what we do in our job, not feeling worthy of impact. This is very much the why me kind of component. So if you have not felt worthy at points in your business, or currently are not feeling worthy of receiving, of being visible, any of those things, just go ahead and draw a little hash mark just draw a little hash mark on your piece of paper. Okay, not feeling worthy. Now, the thing that I'll tell you about worthiness is that your financial ceiling is your worthiness ceiling. So if you're like, Jen, $1 million, I'm not worthy of $1 million. I mean, greedy people make $1 million. Okay, then hence that is our financial ceiling. It keeps us safe. Number 2, lack of self-trust. This is the overthinking about all the things. If I were to show up and do this thing, what if it goes wrong? What if people don't like it? What if I lose friends? Instead of following our intuition, it's from a place of not trusting ourselves fully, either in our business or in our personal life, because we only have so much capacity. So the things we do in our life also impact our business. Number 3, imposter syndrome. So again, if you've experienced that or currently experienced that, just draw a little tick mark on your piece of paper. Number 3 is imposter syndrome. The why me? The, oh yeah, other people can have that, but I'm going to compare to that. And so I'm not qualified. I'm not capable. Or maybe I'm not qualified or capable enough. Okay. So this is your imposter monster. Very often your itty bitty, keeping you safe and having you play small. Okay. So if that has been something that you've experienced or currently experienced, draw a little tick mark on your piece of paper. Negative self-talk. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Well, what if I'm not enough? What if people don't like me? I mean, am I worthy? This is just your itty bitty committee who usually shows up to keep you safe, but also keeps you stuck. So if there's a little bit of a negative self-talk going on in your business or in your personal life, I ask you to draw a little tick mark there. All right, the next ones usually evoke some kind of emotion, so just bear with me. Not asking. Not asking for clients, not asking for referrals, not asking for the sale, not asking for testimonials, not asking to work together, not asking to a certain degree. Because if we were to ask, what if they say no? If we were to ask, what if we lose a friendship or credibility to some extent? So we don't ask. And oftentimes I talk about three things: visibility, asking, and showing up, or visibility, asking, and following up. Follow up is also part of not asking. And what I mean by that is following up is asking again. So if you're like, I already asked, and if they want it, they'll come and find me, then that's not asking, hence not following up. So that applies. Go ahead and draw a little tick mark next to your piece of paper. Perfectionism, the only way to show up is to be 100% perfect. My hair has to look absolutely perfect in order to go on Facebook Live. I need to have the perfect content. I need to have the perfect words. I need to have the perfect experience for my clients. On the other side of perfectionism, unfortunately, we end up with another P word, called procrastination. Because until we get it perfect, we delay, we delay, we delay. And oftentimes procrastination, we might execute, but it's right at that moment where it's right at the end, and either we're lacking in some degree, confidence, lacking in asking for, creating an offer, we're lacking in something. And I'm gonna walk and talk because my computer's gonna die because I decided not to show up perfect today, but we're gonna figure this out. So that is procrastination. So if you are in the pattern of procrastinating about something in your life and or your business, please draw a little tick mark there. All right, the next category is people pleasing. Your spouse, your friends, your kiddo. If I do everything for everyone else, they will love me. If I show up as a chameleon for everyone because they want this and I'm going to show up like that for them, and they want this other thing, I'm going to show up like that for somebody else. People pleasing. Okay. All right. The last four, my friends. Money mindset. Money is the root of all evil. Only greedy people have money. Any negative thoughts when it comes to money or the discomfort with money? Money is the root of all evil. Money doesn't grow on trees. You should be grateful for what you have. Don't want more, etc. Number 10 is empty cup. So not pouring into yourself, not having a self-care routine that actually fills you up so that you can go and do for others. But then, of course, your own boundaries. But empty cup is pouring, 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 and wondering, what about me? Often growing resentful as well. 11 is time distractors. I usually call this numbing as well. What I mean by that is spending too much time on social media, not in the things that build your business. Maybe it's making sure that it's that perfect Canva document or that perfect website or that perfect content. It's things that don't help you optimize your time, because every single one of us has 1,440 minutes over the course of a day. We don't have more. And so hence it's those things that take our time away, but they don't fill our cup and they don't build our business. Number 12, lack of forgiveness. I often see these, and when it comes to, we only have so much capacity and holding grudges towards others, or continuing to blame ourselves for something. I wasn't good enough with money. I should have done this faster. Whatever sense it is of something that continues to hound you, that some level of forgiveness would actually create some expansion and additional capacity for you. Okay, we can go further into any of these. I'm just going to ask you to look at your piece of paper and see how many little hash marks you got, how many little ticks you got on there. And I've got some of my own. Okay, I'm always growing and evolving. So as I stop my screen here for a second, I'm going to ask you to add those up, and each of those is equivalent to $100. So we're going to take that amount and we're going to deduct it from the 1,200. And I'm going to ask you how much you have left. Okay. So I'm just going to go in the order that I see y'all in. So Lizzie, how much you got left, sister?
600 remaining.
Okay. Tanika?
500.
Danielle?
800.
Rochelle? Approximately, I know.
I am broke. $0.
Okay.
Got a little bit of everything in there for me.
Yeah. All right, my friends. So this is now from a place of expansion. I believe that in order to make any change in our life, we first need to be aware. Right? And so the categories that maybe would hit you right between the eyes and you're like, man, that one rung true for me. I'm a big fan of starting with one place that we get to grow from. Okay. Now, in order to build in a little bit more of the impact of this, I want this to make sense for you and your business. Okay. So I've mentioned before that as a woman entrepreneur, we make 62 cents to the dollar, leaving 38 cents behind. And so the 38 cents where we're leaving them behind are in the things that I just brought up to the screen. Okay. Now, for some of us, most of us, we're going to be somewhere in this range. But what I'm going to ask you to think about is to your best knowledge. Let's take the last month. Okay. For most of us, hopefully we have a good idea of how much revenue we brought in last month. Can we do that? Okay. It could be approximate. It doesn't need right down to the dollar. I'm going to ask you to write down that amount. How much revenue did you bring in last month? Approximately. Okay. We all got one? We got something? Okay, I'm going to ask you to take out your calculator. And I'm going to ask you to take that number. And I'm going to ask you to multiply it times 1.38. 1.38. Okay, when you see that number, I'm assuming it feels pretty good for most of us. Like we'd like the 1.38. Okay. So when I talk about 38 cents per the dollar that we leave on the table, it's like 38 cents, Jen. Like it's 38 cents, you know. It's a quarter, it's a couple of nickels, you know, kind of stuff. But it's not, because when we compound it over the course of a business, the 12 profit killers are costing you the difference between what you made last month and what that 1.38 is. And I'm gonna guess for most of us, it's gonna be in the hundreds and thousands of dollars. Okay. All right. So that's a hard truth from Coach Jen B today. Okay. I tend to be a coach who will lovingly hold space for you, but also lovingly hold you to your ask. So the next step that we get to do this on this, my friends, is are we willing to change the 38 cents? Are we willing to break more of that? Okay. Now, before we go too far, since we got extra time, I'd love to actually let's do this. I'm going to pivot a little bit. I sometimes go rogue. Is that okay? All right. We're gonna let go of some things because I think when we create, we can't put more stuff full in a cup of, we cannot put more stuff in a cup full of shit. Okay. But we can when we let go of some of it. So I'm gonna ask you to go grab some post-it notes, an index card, a piece of toilet paper, whatever it is. I want you to grab something small that you have several of. So if you have like a sheet of paper and you want to cut it into like 8 squares, you can do that. Okay. Now, I started off the session reminding you that the words that we use have power. It's called internal marketing. Now, I also believe, play on B and play on all the puns about the B's these days. What you believe, you become. What you believe, you become. Okay? So what we're going to do on these index cards is I want you to think about a person, place, or thing, or story that you're telling yourself today that no longer belongs. Maybe it's tied to the profit killers, or 12 of them. Maybe it's a money story. Maybe it's a perfectionism story. Maybe it's someone you're growing resentful about because they're just not showing up for you. Whatever it is. So I'm going to give you about a minute. And on these little sheets of paper, what I want you to do is I want you to write down that story, and it does not need to be a whole lot of words, just maybe one word. And then you're going to take the next index card, the next post-it note, the next sheet of paper, and you're writing a different one. So you're going to end up with a little stack of them. Okay, and then we're gonna figure out what to do next with those. Cool?
Wait, I'm so sorry. Can you say it again?
Okay, do you have post-it notes, index cards, or a piece of paper with you?
Yeah.
Okay, show me what you got.
Well, it's paper towels. I was trying not to show that, but
Okay,
I can
so
write on.
you're good. Did you say you were trying not to show that?
Yeah.
I mean, crazy. You have paper towels. I don't know what to do with you anymore. We're gonna kick you out of here.
No paper. I'm like so on my technology. I'm like paper.
Good.
Where?
You're good. Okay. What you're gonna do is on every single one of those pieces of paper towel, you're gonna write one thing. And so, like, if you need to break the paper towel in half or in quarters, you can do that. And you're
Okay.
gonna end up with a little stack of person, places, things, stories. They might be tied to the 12 profit killers that are living rent-free in your mind. Okay? This is all the shit we tell ourselves, basically. Okay?
Okay.
I'm just gonna ask you to write it down, like maybe one word per thing, like one word per piece of paper towel.
Okay.
Okay. Doesn't need to be perfect, my friends. We can just go, we can flow into it. Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna give you a minute to write down. Write down whatever comes to your mind, whatever's holding you back. Okay. If we're open and able to, I will see if there's anybody who would like to read one of their cards. And don't have to read all of them, but maybe what is one of your statements that's coming up for you?
So if we'll see if I did it right. I mean, I just wrote one words, but I wrote perfection. I mean, that was a big one for me when you went over that. I'm like queen of, yeah, like fear of putting it out there until it's perfect. And then they like what's it called? Like overlap, right? Then I'm like, well, then I procrastinate. It's not perfect. But anyways, yeah, that's a big one for me. Perfection.
Okay, perfectionism. All right. Is there a particular story that comes up for you? Maybe it's something regarding when you were younger, or like maybe something you're telling yourself, like if it's not perfect, they won't buy or they won't say yes, or what if it's not perfect, they won't like me? Something like that that comes up.
Yeah, maybe just like the judgment that I think could come from it, or like almost even fear like I make an error. Like I'm pretty confident in what I do, but there's always this thought that if I think I'm gonna like put together this course or something or this AI whatever, like will I make some mistake? And then I like spiral. I'm like, and then my colleagues will be like, this Tanika shouldn't be doing this. She told the people the wrong thing, and like,
Okay. All right. So that's a story. Got it. All right. So we're gonna work through these stories. All right. Anybody else have a story that they'd like to share that came up for them? All right, Lizzie.
I'm still going between a couple. Right now is that I don't know how to find my ideal clients, I guess is probably a big one for me.
Okay. I don't know how to find my ideal clients. Okay. All right. What other stories, my friends? Anybody else has a story they want to share?
I resonated a lot with what Tanika said. I think I totally agree on that. And then in the same vein, what came to mind for me was that, yes, people, in my brain, I'm telling myself care a lot and are going to, get into the micro details of everything I say, whatever. But then at the same time, nobody cares is the other thought of like, who cares what I have to say?
Who cares what I got to say? Okay. All right. So how many of you are getting rent checks from your itty bitty committee? Like they're giving you money every single day because they're living in here. Anybody getting a rent check? Like they're writing you a check? No. That's where that's where the 38 cents go. It's costing you money, right? So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to challenge a story with 3 questions that I'm going to give you. And as we finalize today, we're going to talk about wins list and a 1% commitment, because I do believe that the easiest way for us to work through the 12 profit killers in your business is by taking 1% intentional action. I'm a big fan of a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. Okay. So with that, okay, the 3 questions to turn any story on its head. In other words, to let go of it because it doesn't belong to you. I'm going to tell you what the questions are first, and then we're going to go through each of them. All right, question number 1 is it true? Is it true? True. Is it true? Question number 2 is it real? REAL. Is it real? Question number 3 is it mine? MINE. Mine. So when I was in the 7th grade, English is not my first language. Spanish is. Both of my parents are Cuban immigrants. And in my household, I got parentified really quickly when I was 8, and I ended up being like the communicator for everything in my family. But, in the 7th grade class, the teacher's way of teaching us new vocabulary words for the week was to have us go around reading out loud. Now, if anybody's familiar with Spanish, what you see in Spanish is what you say. However it's written is what you say. English doesn't work that way. It's a very wonky language. So when it was my turn to read out loud, I often would butcher it. And there was a boy who used to sit behind me. His name was Daniel, who used to whisper in my ear as I was trying to read out loud, Jen, like, quit while you're ahead. Jen, you're a loser. Jen, go back to where you came from. Okay. Daniel ended up coming all the way with me, all the way to my business entrepreneurship journey. So here I am at the age of 38, 39, 40, leaving corporate America, taking the big leap with all the scared. And guess who's living here rent free? Daniel. So in the way of that, I'm going to ask you to reflect on your own story and whatever it is that you wrote down. Because most of the stories that we tell ourselves are built by the age of 7. And our brain's job is not to help us break through. Our brain's job is to keep us safe. So, is it true means? Would somebody who's a third party observer look at the story you're saying and say, yep, without a shadow of a doubt, the evidence stacks and that story's true? Okay, third party observer looking at evidence. Is it true? Is it real means? Is this currently happening right here, right now? Or is there a story that you're looking at in the rear view mirror of your car that you're bringing into present day? It's no longer happening, but we're creating an environment like it still is. And question number 3 is it mine? Which means that you, on your own free will, with absolutely no influence from anybody else, came up with this story. Okay, so to challenge my own. So is it true, and the story that Daniel was telling me is that you're never going to make it? Is it true that I was never going to make it? No. Now, if you're adding words like never, always, everyone, no one, it's not true. Is it real? At the age of 39, I don't know where the hell Daniel is. I stopped seeing the boy when I was in 8th grade, but here he is, 20 some years later, living rent free in my mind. He's not real. I'm making him real. And number 3, is it mine, my own story that I was never going to make it? No, Daniel gave it to me, as well as other things that I grew up with. So as you're looking at your story, my friends, all the stories you wrote down, if you challenge it to, is it true, is it real, is it mine, and the answer to any of those questions is a no, even if 2 is a yes, that story doesn't belong to you. We get to park it, give it to someone else, give it back, hand it off, burn it. I don't care. So again, as women entrepreneurs, it's amazing the stories we pick up and why we're not showing up in our worthiness, including in our financial worthiness. Now, I'm not going to advise to do this here because this is Lizzie's space and we're going to make sure we keep this safe. But if the stories that you have, you want to burn tonight, go burn on your own free will. Okay? We not take responsibility for it. Neither Lizzie nor I. Okay? But this is what we get to do with the stories. Now, any questions, comments, concerns, or emotional outburst on that? Okay. Can we let go of some of these stories? Okay. As we let go, our worthiness ceiling is our financial ceiling. So our financial ceiling will just up and up. And back to what y'all were mentioning, going on trips, taking care of the ones that we love, creating more impact in our community. That's how we get to do this. But we first have to get out of our own way. Now, as we pivot, I'm a big fan of action taking because I believe like we get to stay in the suck so much, but there's only so much time for that. So what I'm going to ask you to do next, my friends, is I want you to write down on that sheet of paper something you want. And it might not be more money, but something you want for you, for your life, for the people in your life. What do you want? If it was all said and done today, what would you go do? What do you want? Just write down one thing that you want. And yes, your itty bitty's already barking at you. I see it. It's okay. We're just going to write it down. One thing you want. All right. We're also going to share a little bit more statistics here. So for many of us, we carry that want in our heart. Many times afraid to write it down or say it out loud. Okay. When that happens, it's called a wish. Let's just call it what it is. Okay, it's a wish. And wishes are fine, but wishes often are not accomplished because we don't take intentional action towards it. Now, when you take your wish or your goal and you write it down, you're about 43% more successful. So y'all just have upped the game just by writing it down. Now, how we get to the 60-some percent is when we say it out loud. And then we get to 90-some percent when we actually have an accountability partner and some systems and routines and support community around the thing. So I'm going to open it up for any lady who'd like to bring their wish, their dream to about 60-some percent. What do you want?
Freedom.
Freedom of what does freedom look like for you, Rochelle?
Time freedom, ability to do with my time what I want and go on adventures without guilt.
Go on adventure without guilt. Okay. All right. What else do we want?
I want the household's finances to be a source of pride. Like, I want to feel super jazzed about them.
Nice. You want to feel comfortable. Okay. Not that.
I want to feel jazzed.
You want to feel jazzed, not
Not
comfortable.
just
Okay.
comfortable. I want to be like,
jazzed.
yeah, look at that.
All right. There we go. That's just for you right there, Lizzie. She wants to feel jazzed. Okay. What else?
I wrote peace/stability. It's actually kind of similar to Lizzie, I think. Like, I make good money, but I always think like, when's the shoe gonna drop? Or will it be like, do I have full confidence that it's consistent the rest of my life? Like, it's like good now, but that like super jazz, like I just know it's gonna be great forever. That peace stability feelings aren't there.
You want to have financial trust as well.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Good. All right. And I appreciate you sharing vulnerably. None of us are alone, my friends, until somebody's brave enough to do just what Danielle did, which is to share, to speak. So thank you, Danielle, for being here, letting us in. So as we look at these stories, and again, we let go of these stories, and we go into what we want, I want to give you the confidence to know that anything you want is absolutely yours. I'm not a big fan of comparison, but sometimes I leverage it for good. And what I mean by that is if they can have it, why can't I? Who are they? And yes, we think about privilege and we think about big name and celebrity and things come easier. Most of us started exactly in the same place. There were a set of circumstances that happened or have happened or will happen. And the biggest strategic tool in your life and in your business is not most of what we consider. It's actually between your ears. The biggest strategic tool in your life and your business is your mindset. Okay? Now, I'm a big fan of intentional action. And back to Atomic Habits by James Clear, he talks about the power of 1%. Now, nobody's like, 1%, it's so sexy, Jen. Sign me up for a 1% raise. Nobody says that. Most of us want big, bold, and fast. And the crazy thing is that 1% compounded over the course of time is a lot. And so the simplest picture that I can draw for you based off his book is if a plane's taken out of LA and it has a 1% shift to its nose, like where it takes off and it doesn't correct that, it just keeps compounding over the course of time, this plane will land in New York City instead of Miami. Listen, I'm a girl from Miami, but I don't want to go back to my hometown. I want to end up in New York City. So I'm sure that plane, that 1%, you feel it over the course of time. It compounds. So much so that 365 days, 1% is a 3,700% improvement. 37x. Think about that. That's crazy. So yes, we did talk about the 12 profit killers, and most of us are like, yeah, let's reclaim the $1,200. And I'm going to tell you, my friends, that we'll set ourselves up for failure if that's the approach we take, because it's all about the 1% consistent action. So as you're looking at your dream, your goal, and your desire, what I'm going to ask you to write down today as we finalize this is to realize that you are creating evidence to support your itty bitty, or you are creating evidence to your itty bitty take its power away. So you're creating evidence to help with the 12 profit killers and help them be consistent, or you're creating evidence to dismantle the 12 profit killers. Make sense? Okay, the way we do that is through action. So as you're looking at your dream, desire, and goal, what is a 1% thing? What is a one thing you can do today to help you take a step towards it? One thing. Maybe this is reframing a thought. Maybe this is an I am statement you write down. Maybe this is a little bit of research you do. You ask help for a friend. What is the one thing you can do today to help you towards your goal, dream, and desire? I'm going to ask you to write that down. All right. So as we're writing that thing down, we're going to take your 1%, and I want you to be uber successful. So we're going to get up to that 90-some% of success rate. So the way we do this is pretty simple. As we go around the room with the 1%, and I finalize this, I just want you to listen. Listen to what that amazing woman in the space is sharing. And think about, can I be somebody that could help her? Could I be somebody who can send her a nudge in about a week and say, hey, how's that thing going? Could I connect her with someone who can maybe help her go do the thing? Make sense? Okay, so this is how we create community. All right, and one of the things that I love to do every single morning when my feet hit the ground, say, I'm a master connector. That is my I am statement. I connect to me. I help people to connect to me. I connect people to each other. That is what I do all day, every day. That's a business. I happen to have a business, but I connect every day. That's how. So we're going to connect today. Rochelle, what is your 1% action?
Scheduling some sort of soul care time in my day.
Okay. What is the soul care time for you? What is that like? Can you give us some examples?
Like meditating, doing some yoga, movement meditations.
Sweet. Okay. Are you familiar with Finch?
Yes, I love Finch.
All right. I got a little birdie too. My little birdie's is called Let's Go. She's really cute.
Oh, I love it. Mine's named Tala.
Tala?
Stands for balance. Yes.
Okay, nice. So if you're not familiar with Finch, my friends, it's a great way to take self-care and gamify it, basically. It's a little birdie. And it's free. It's a free app. All right. Danielle, what is your 1% action?
That's we're gonna go with less time distraction and numbness. When you point out that it was numbness, that was not kind, Miss Jen, but I appreciated the ass kicking.
I'm sorry. Okay.
No need to apologize. That was just why that you were a soul teacher today, and that was what I needed.
All right, good. Okay, thank you for the grace there. And again, I don't usually go on a quest for my clients to become my best friend, even though that often happens. And what I'm on a quest for is for women to level up. So thank you, Danielle, for the grace to share that. All right, Tanika.
I'll admit I'm a bit of a processor, so I could use more time on this, but my gut instinct is I think so. I'm not big into manifestation only because my Christianity is very important to me, but I think I understand the parallels and all the things. So for me, I think like I've kind of gotten out of some of my spiritual disciplines and like being in the word a little bit more and just more quiet time, I think. And that always like boosts my confidence and this whole like perfectionism thing. It stabilizes me a lot and gives me that peace also that I'm already provided for. So my gut instinct is just to double down a little bit on some of my spiritual disciplines that I've dipped away from a little bit.
Good. All right. And maybe Finch is your friend too.
Maybe. Yes.
All right. Lizzie.
All right, I have had send emails to ask for referrals on my to-do list for an embarrassing long time. So that is happening today. I'm going to send at least
Yay.
5 emails asking. Because I have people that I know are fans, but I never ask them.
Okay. And people want to help us. They do.
Yeah.
They really, really, really do. But they need to know how to help us. And that's a clarity there. Okay. So, my friends, as you finalize today your 1% commitment action, the last reminder I will give you is that over the course of today, you either will help your 12 profit killers and dismantle them, or you will build them up. And the way we do that is through self-trust. So, doing the thing, you create an evidence log that helps you to stand up as your best self, helping you to reclaim those 38 cents per dollar. Cool? All right. Anything else? I love that I had more time with y'all because I love to talk about this stuff.
So I'm going to jump back in. First of all, I feel like, Jen, you took what could have been a small, awkward room and just made it so useful. I feel like everyone in this room was like, this was so worth my time. Can you please share a link where we can drop you a review? Because I would love to ask everyone in here to write a review for that talk.
Yes.
That was
I'm going to do two
so-
things. Okay. Number one, I have a link tree. Okay. So if like you want to hang out with me in any of the spaces that I'm hanging out in, that's a link. Okay. And then yes, I would love a review. Let me see if I can find that really, really quickly. Okay. Anything else on that, Lizzie? Want to share?
I will also include that in the email that will come out after the meeting. So if you miss it here, don't worry, it'll come there as well. And anyone else have any events coming up or anything that they'd like to share with the group? Quick reminder, please, to use that contact form so that we can get a hold of each other. I really feel like this group, we get each other. We have that similar backgrounds, and I think we work together really well. So grab, if you're looking to hire someone, grab from there first. Oh, yeah, go for it, Tamika.
I feel like I remember a little while ago you would say like, oh, if you've already done it once, you don't need to do it again. Is that still remain true or?
Unless something's changed, that still remains true. Yeah,
Okay,
thank
thank
you
you.
for asking that. Yeah. Sweet.
All right, and that's a review. And full transparency for asking, I have a number this year, and that's 100. I'm at 72 reviews, and I am like looking. That just make my heart happy. So if you feel like you got something out of today's presentation, or hanging out with me, or any of that, would love your feedback. Cool. All right. Thank you, my friends. I will see you all very soon. Thank you, Lizzie, for creating this space. Go do the thing. You are worthy of impact and income. Bye, my friends. Take care.
Bye, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Lizzie.
Bye.